All right, so this episode of Caffeinated Combat is sponsored by crackstreams.com. Make sure you
Oh, don't say it.
make
Don't
sure you
say it.
support our boys in crack over there on
We're the reason
crackstreams.com.
60 fighters are getting cut.
This is the Caffeinated Combat Christmas special, UFC 256.
Oh, the next Christmas special. We did one last week too.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I imagine we're gonna do one this coming Saturday
If
as
it's
well.
December, it's a Christmas special.
Okay.
So we just watched Deiveson Figueiredo. I mean, we didn't just watch this. You know what I mean, though. We watched Deiveson Figueiredo fight Brandon the Assassin Baby Moreno. And I want to start this off by asking, what is that nickname? I don't understand. Does it make any sense to you at all?
The Assassin Baby.
It just doesn't. It seems like
I
grammatically awkward, doesn't it? It's just. Does it
for the
sound
longest
better?
time I thought it was the Baby Assassin.
That sounds better. I mean, it makes more sense. Is that
Yeah,
something
but
that
the
just doesn't?
connotation, because the connotation with that could be he
He's.
fucking kills babies. No,
Oh
the
no.
baby assassin. Well, I guess you could perceive it that way too. I always
Maybe.
just assumed he's an assassin, but he's also like a small little guy with maybe a baby face. I don't know.
I mean, I guess I still think it's just a translation problem from Spanish to English. Maybe it sounds better and more fluent in Spanish in that language.
That
That
yeah,
might be it, you know.
that could certainly be it.
But I mean, I told you last night. I honestly thought he was a grade A trash can. I didn't think he had any chance of beating Davidson. Just one, because of how unbeatable Davidson looks, and two, just
Yes.
because of as you were saying, Brandon has just kind of been under the radar a little bit because let's be honest, he's a flyweight, and the UFC doesn't really like giving them any spotlight, I guess you could say. So I don't think that's mostly on him. I think that the division's just kind of making a resurgence now. We're just starting to see these high-level guys again after Demetrius and Henry left. I'm excited about it, though. I really like flyweight now. I think Davidson's got to be one of my favorite fighters right now. One, because of how active he is, and two, just because of his raw talent and skill. I mean, what kind of flyweight hits like that? You can audibly hear every single jab that gets thrown as if it's a hook or a cross. This man just has that power that you don't see, and Brandon just took it. How did he take those shots? I don't understand. He's got a granite, or not a granite chin. He's got a steel chin and a half. If I've ever seen
Yeah.
one. I'm impressed with both of them. I thought they both looked phenomenal. We saw a little bit of weakness in Davidson in the later rounds, but and I mean I don't think that's his fault. I think that's just his style. You know, he's constantly throwing bombs. I mean, eventually you're gonna have to stop doing that and get a little tired. But
Yeah, they
yeah,
were keeping up an insane pace
yeah,
throughout the entire fight. I don't think anyone is wrong in saying that it was the greatest flyweight title fight ever. I can't recall another one that I found more exciting. Um, I mean, all the or not all of, but most of the DJ fights weren't really competitive. The
right.
second Cejudo fight was decent. Um, then when Cejudo became flyweight champ, I mean, I can't recall a fight there that lives up to this. Yeah, it's the greatest flyweight title fight ever. One of the greatest flyweight fights, period. Um, Deiveson is everything you want in a champion. I think he's single-handedly reviving that division. He has a fighting style that appeals to fans. You know, it's very aggressive. It's very he throws heavy bombs. It's everything you want. It's fun to watch. He's got he's got just all the factors. You know, he's got a swagger. I don't know why I said it like that. I almost said he's got a swag,
He does have
but
swag. You're right.
he's got style to him. He's got charisma. He's just a cool ass guy.
Yeah.
Very fun to watch. Very intense. And then Moreno comes out there, and I think everyone kind of underestimated him, myself included. And he puts on a super competitive fight. It it seems like the only reason it was ruled a draw was because of that groin strike. Um, Otherwise, Deiveson would have won. But I'm happy with a draw, and these guys are going to run it back next year, or in sometime in 2021. Um, and I think it's going to be great. I think uh, people are going to flock to see it. After this one, maybe this one didn't sell super well, although it probably did given the rest of the card. But I mean, the next one is going to be it's going to sell gangbusters. I think this is the most competitive fight in the flyweight division, a division that is coming back from the dead, like the God of War himself, Deiveson Figueiredo.
Oh man, I'm really excited to see it again. I'm happy that most fans are kind of okay with the outcome. Most of the time when you have a championship and a draw, you're like, most fans are kind of upset. This doesn't really tell us anything, but I think it was kind of fair. I mean,
I agree
Davidson
with it.
definitely had the edge, um, but then again, he also destroyed Brandon's testicles, and
Yeah,
unless Brandon's a good actor. I don't think that he was faking any of that. You saw the way he was coughing, almost throwing up.
dude.
I mean, crawling
Yeah,
around like an
that was
assassin baby.
brutal.
Like
That was
that
that
was
was.
bad.
I thought he was going to lose the fight right
Yeah.
after that. I thought he was
Remember?
going to get up, and then Davison was going to just finish him.
Yeah. I didn't think he was gonna get up, and as soon as I texted you that, he got up immediately. So I mean, I guess you could give that to me. I kind of got him up.
Rogan was saying it too. Rogan didn't
Yeah.
think he was going to get back up. I think the point deduction was totally
Yeah.
justified because, there's this whole idea of like, oh, was it intentional or was it unintentional? I would say 99% of the time it's unintentional, and 100% of the time it doesn't matter because the guy's testicles still got
Yeah.
fucking shattered. Like, who cares? He's still in excruciating pain and he's compromised and it affects the outcome of the fight. So you have to even that out in some way. Um, so yeah, I think Jason Herzog did a terrific job reffing the entire fight. I think the point deduction was totally justified, and I was happy with the draw. I thought it was
Yeah.
fine. I thought the judges saw it right. I think yeah, I think it was good. Super back and forth fight. I mean, there were Davison hurt Brandon hurt Deiveson. There were numerous times where I thought the fight was nearing its end. Um, Brandon with the terrific takedowns, I think
Yeah.
that really saved him because he was kind of getting pieced up on the feet at some points. Um, but I think those takedowns gave him a real edge. He was landing some really nice takedowns, perfectly timed, perfectly executed. Um, and we just don't really see that happen at Figueiredo. No one's really gave him a fight this tough before, and just taken him down with ease. Um, which that's also a thing we'll get to in the co-main. I know it's probably still a touchy subject for
Oh.
you, so.
Oh. Please don't remind me of the co-main. I was hoping I could repress that out of my memory forever. Um.
Listen, if you told me that going into this card that the Deiveson Figueiredo fight and the Brandon Moreno fight was going to be an absolute war, and then the Tony Ferguson Charles Oliveira fight was going to be a one-sided beatdown on Oliveira's part,
How dare you?
I would have said you got it mixed up.
Yeah, you're
It, you
messed
you
up in the
got it
head or something.
reversed.
Yeah.
You got it reversed. The Ferguson fight and the Oliveira fight, that's gonna be the war. Davison's gonna go out there and beat up Brandon Moreno for a round or two, and then that's gonna be it. Nope, nope. That's not what happened. Tony got he got he got dominated.
Do you think
He
that
got dominated
yeah,
bad.
yeah. Do you think Davidson's gonna get his $50,000 bonus again, or do you think Dane is gonna hold out on him for a little bit like he did last time? Make him.
Wait, what do you mean?
Remember, he didn't get a win bonus. He was complaining about it, so Dana like showed up to his hotel and like personally gave him like the $50,000 win bonus or
Oh, I didn't know
fight of the
that.
night bonus, something like that happened.
Well,
Yeah,
they definitely got fight of the night last night.
yeah.
I know
He
that for
that
sure.
well earned on both
Yeah,
sides.
Davison
Jesus.
and Brandon got fight in the night, and then performance of the night was Kevin Holland and someone else. Um,
Ciryl.
no, it
No.
wasn't Ciryl.
Cub Swanson.
No, it wasn't Cub either. frick
It
was
just
it?
shows you how good the fights were last night. If it wasn't
Dude,
them,
I'm looking up and down this card and I can't find a fight that I didn't love.
it's incredible.
It was one of the best cards of the year.
Yeah. I mean,
Hang on, I
prelims,
got
even the early prelims with Chase Hooper, that was very fun. A
yeah,
comeback, like,
super fun
exhilarating.
fight.
So, I mean, all around, I hope this shoots Davidson into stardom like it should. I hope he becomes popular with like the mainstream people.
How about he had a stomach infection too going into
Really?
that? Yeah,
Davidson did. Oh,
he was saying that in the post-fight interview with Rogan that he was in the hospital the night before till 2 a.m. because he had some kind of stomach infection.
wow. And
Yeah.
I wanna talk about the potential for Davidson to be a little bit better in the rematch based on if he has a full camp and he's not coming off of that another fight a couple weeks prior. Do you think that
Yeah,
Davison
that's
would
a
have
good
a
point.
much easier time coming into this second fight, the rematch, with a full training camp, proper um, fight ethics, not ethics, I guess, I don't know what you'd call it. Um, will Davison have a better time doing this the right way than what he just did last night? I would say yes, for sure.
Um, Before I answer that, the other performance of the night was Rafael Fiziev, who
Oh,
KO'd Renato Moicano.
yes. That
So
was
yeah,
brutal as well.
the
Yeah.
performance of the nights were Holland and Fiziev. Fight of the night was the main event. But to your point, to your question, I don't know exactly because Brandon is also coming off
Hmm.
a he had the same turnaround that Deiveson did, and neither of these guys had a super hard fight last week, right? Like
That's true, yes.
they both put out their opponents pretty quickly. Davison submitted
Hmm.
Alex Perez in like under 2 minutes, and then Moreno uh, KOs Brandon Royval or
Hmm.
TKOs him or whatever in inside the first round. So neither of these guys really had had like a war like they did last night prior to this fight. They both made the same turnaround. They both had to make weight again. I don't know. Um, it it'll be interesting to see. I really couldn't tell you, but one would assume that they're both going to be fresher if they have a full training camp preparing for each other, and not a fight the week prior. Which I mean, Jesus, you gotta give these guys even more credit for putting on that fight that they did last night when they had a fight week prior. I know I just got done saying how it wasn't like neither of them had a super competitive fight, but a fight's a fight. They still went out there
Still
in
had
a
to make
UFC.
weight and whatnot,
They
yeah.
still had to make weight. They still had to go out into a UFC octagon and fight a killer the week prior. I mean, and then come back the following week to go to war for 5 rounds. That's nuts. Um, but yeah, one would assume that both guys are gonna be even better than they were this time. You have to think they both learned something about each other
Hmm.
this time around. Maybe Davison underestimated Brandon the way we all did.
I would say you
And
did, yeah.
yeah, and Davison has been going out there his last few title fights and absolutely wrecking his opponents. I mean, he made short work of Benavidez both times. Wasn't a super competitive fight either time, especially the second one was absolutely brutal. Goes out there and makes short work of Alex Perez. So, you have to get to the point if you're Davis and Figueiredo where you're feeling a little untouchable, you're feeling a little
Hmm.
unbeatable. Um, and he probably thought the same thing we thought about Brandon, where he's good, he's very talented, but beating Figueiredo, I don't know about that. But then he goes out there and he makes a real case for just that. So, uh, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say anything about the rematch between these two whenever that happens. Um, I mean, I'll be very, very, very excited for it either way. But
Hmm. I hope it
yeah,
doesn't get delayed too far because of Brandon's injuries. I know he said his shoulder popped out when he was throwing a jab at some point
Yeah.
in that fight, but I mean, he
I mean,
seemed
I
pretty
saw
confident about coming.
Deiveson went to the hospital last night too, I
Yeah,
believe. He got taken out on a stretcher, so yeah, they both got pretty fucked up. It's gonna take a bit. I think we're gonna be well into 2021 by the
yeah.
time we see that rematch. I mean, I would, if I had to make a prediction.
Who would have known we're looking so forward to a flyweight title fight? Like, oh man. Like I know it was always fun with Henry and DJ, but this just feels different. I don't. There's something about it.
Maybe summer 2021.
Yeah, I would say summer. That sounds fair. Give him
Yeah.
some time to fully recover from the actual war. They just I cannot believe how much damage they inflicted on each other.
Plus, I
Holy
mean,
shit.
we don't know about Brandon's shoulder. He may need a
Yeah.
surgery or something. Who knows?
Yeah, they're. I mean, Joe was very excited for the injury report, mainly because of the co-main event. Uh, I don't even
Oh
want to. I don't
yeah.
even want to talk about it. It hurts my heart. It breaks my soul to talk about this. But Tony just he got
Shit the
outclassed,
bed.
Kyle.
He shit the bed
He
real
met
hard.
his match real hard. His direct counter, I guess you could say. Someone who
Yeah.
can dominate him on the ground. That's not good. That's Tony's biggest strength, in my opinion. I mean, his striking complements off his ability to be so good off the ground because no one wants to take him there. And if you're able to just pick him up and slam him at will, you totally nullify his striking. You nullify every part of his game plan, his ground game, his BJJ. I mean, you saw in that first round, he put up a pretty good fight on the feet. He was landing pretty clean, but I mean, they both were. But as soon as Charles realized he could just, whoop, take him down anytime, then oh man, I was just so much pain in my heart just seeing that.
Charles is your next lightweight title
Yes,
contender without a
yes,
doubt. You don't screw this guy out of that, please. He is so deserving of it. He's on like what, like a 9-fight win streak now, something insane like that. Um, yeah, I mean, so we have Connor and Dustin coming up in January. I think or did I say Connor and Justin? I
no,
meant
you
to
said
say
Dustin.
Connor. Okay, Connor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. We have that coming up in January. Does the winner of that take on Charles for the title fight? Do you wait for Gaethje? Do you wait to see if Habib is ever going to come back? I don't know. I think whatever way uh whatever way you put it, I think Oliveira has to be part of the conversation for what he did last night. Um, you know, uh, Justin went out there and beat up Tony for 5 rounds, and he got the title fight. So I think it's only fair if you do the same to for Oliveira. Granted, uh, I think Oliveira's performance was much more impressive than what Justin did to Tony. Not saying what Justin did to Tony wasn't spectacular, but the way in which Charles beat him, like you were saying, was mind blowing to say the least. I mean, picking up and slamming Tony Ferguson just when you feel like it, mounting him when you feel like it, throwing up deadly submissions just when you feel like it. I mean,
Yeah, you mean deadly when you say deadly. You guys saw that armbar, right?
oh my God, dude,
Ooh,
I recoiled from my
yeah,
screen. I recoiled like you do when a jump scare happens in a movie. The way you like you jump back real fast from you and you
yeah.
retract yourself from the screen. That's what I did watching that armbar. Um, if that went half a second longer, that arm was popping. It was popping out. Um, I think it got fucked up regardless,
Yeah.
but it got hyperextended real bad. Um, but we were gonna see a nasty break if that went half a second longer because Tony Ferguson just did not want to tap, which I think is stupid
I
in my
also think it's a
opinion.
little stupid.
But I mean I guess I understand his will to win, and he's the toughest. He's one of the toughest dudes alive, and he will never give up. But Holy shit, man.
I mean, did you hear him screaming in pain? Like,
Yeah.
it's not like he wasn't feeling that. He's not that flexible. Like he was feeling every bit of that,
Yeah.
and he just didn't seem to care. I don't think tapping was even in his mind. He was just thinking like, I just gotta chill here and hope for the best and hope I could find some way out of it or get saved by the bell. I can't believe that he didn't tap to that, because I mean, you see people tapping for much less, some things of much less severity compared to that. And wow, I think Tony's too tough for his own good, like Dana was saying
Mm-hmm.
after the Justin fight. I think I don't think you should let yourself get that damaged in the same way as I don't think you should let yourself get beaten up, with strikes for 5 rounds like we saw in the Justin fight. I think that it's totally okay to tap out and say, hey, I can't, I need to preserve myself for the next bout. I don't want to completely ruin myself and
Yeah.
for the rest of my career and cause permanent damage. And I think that you saw that during this fight. I don't know much about the biomechanics of hyperextending an elbow, but I do know that it's very bad to do that for extended amounts of time and then throw punches with that same arm. He wasn't obviously striking as he would, but he was still throwing that arm out there. And as soon as he did it, he just could not do it again. You saw he took very long breaks in between throwing with that arm. It was clearly hurting very bad after he hyperextended and then started throwing punches. I am so worried for Tony's future just because in the last 2 fights he took so much damage. Um, in the first fight with Justin, you take damage to the brain. Now you're taking damage to your actual bodily mechanics and your arm. There's so much that Tony needs to recover from that I think he should honestly take maybe a year off. Take a year off, heal up, reinvent yourself, come back fresh, and just have another go at it. I don't want to see him retire, though I would understand if he'd want to. I don't think he would. I don't think that's Tony's thing. Tony just wants to fight. But it just hurts to see him take that much permanent damage. That I don't think you can come back from that without certain surgeries, and I don't know. It freaks me out. It's
Well,
I worry for him.
the question is I guess, are we seeing a decline that is permanent? The guy's
Yeah.
36 years old. Are we seeing kind of the end of his career the way we have with Tyron Woodley, where we're like, yeah, dude, he's just not the same anymore. Like, he's just not competing the way he once did, and that's what happens when guys get older. So, like, is this it? I hate to close the casket on him so soon, but 8 rounds in a row
It's a question you
of
got to
just
ask, yeah.
getting beat up bad. It's weird. It's weird how quickly this happened. Like it feels like he went from
Like 100 to
one of the
0.
one of the scariest lightweights alive, who everyone thought could beat Khabib. Like, everyone thought he was the guy to do it, and then to getting just absolutely destroyed for 8 rounds straight.
I I didn't see this happening. When I first saw this fight, I was thinking like this is going to be one of the most competitive fights Tony's going to have. This is a good stylistic matchup for him. I thought they'd be dead even. They would nullify each other's ground game, and then they would end up striking, and Tony would probably have the edge on the striking. But who would have known Charles Oliveira? I mean, we've seen him come back and do this before to other opponents, but not someone as high level as Tony. So my question to you is, does he have a serious chance against the top lightweights? Dustin Poirier,
Charles,
Conor, Justin, Khabib. I
for
would
sure.
argue that he definitely does, especially someone like Conor McGregor or Dustin Poirier. I think he'd have a harder time against Gaethje and Khabib. I don't think he would have like an impossible time against them. I would definitely say he has a chance, but I don't know. I honestly think he has a
I don't know,
very
dude. The way Gaethje was performing on the ground against Khabib, and
yeah.
Charles might, like,
Charles might,
easily
yeah.
submit him, like, easily. Um, I would think the hardest fight for Charles at lightweight would be probably Dustin. If we're speaking strictly of the people we could see him fight for I'm not even gonna say Habib. We'll consider Habib retired for the sake of this argument, which in all honesty, I think he is. He's still listed on the rankings though, but he could fight Justin, he could fight Dustin Poirier, he could fight Conor McGregor. Of those three, I would say Dustin Poirier would be the hardest challenge for him. I think Justin he might submit easily. Um, and then for Conor, if he could impose the same wrestling that he imposed last night, just the slamming at will, mounting at will. If he could do that again, I think he beats Conor, inside 3 rounds. Um, the thing is, Connor's his wrestling and his grappling gets shit on a lot, but he does genuinely have pretty good takedown defense. Um, but I mean, just seeing what Charles did to Tony, I think it's hard to assume that he would somehow have a more difficult time against Conor McGregor, and then seeing how easily Habib made Justin well, I shouldn't say how easily he made him tap, how easily he got him in those compromising positions in that triangle, taking his back, doing all that stuff. I have to think Charles would also have an easy time doing that. Dustin is, I think, the most talented and well-rounded fighter of that entire group. So your top 5 guys right now are Justin, Dustin, Tony, Conor, Dan Hooker. Yeah, I tend to think Dustin is the hardest challenge for Charles Oliveira of those 5 people.
I am very excited to see if Charles almost replaces Tony in this spotlight. I mean, he's
Yeah,
kind of
like
the
a new,
same guy, but I want to say better. Yeah,
younger.
yeah, and younger, almost like an updated Tony Ferguson. Honestly, I
Hmm.
think in the future, I hate to say it, but I honestly think you're gonna see people stop talking about the Dustin, Tony, Conor McGregor, Dan Hooker show, and now you're gonna talk about the Dustin or the Dustin, Charles Oliveira, Conor McGregor, Dan Hooker show, and I love those names, but Tony Ferguson is just like you said, he's seemingly on the same kind of decline that Tyron Woodley went on. You go from winning not every round, but almost every round of every fight you've been in for what, 15? Was the win streak 15? I think something like that.
No, it wasn't that much. It was a lot, but it was like 12.
Okay, 12. That's fair.
Mm.
It's weird to see you going from that to this. And I know you could just say, well, stylistically, these two fighters maybe were just the direct counters to Tony Ferguson's game, but you can't
Yeah.
really have the direct counters if you're a champion. Obviously, that makes you kind of a I don't want to say a paper champion, but if there's someone who could beat you and you're the champion, are you really the champion? It's just a matter of time before this guy just comes in and whoops your ass and takes your title.
Hmm.
It freaks me out. It's like if Joseph Benavidez was the flyweight champion right now, would people really think he's the flyweight champion when they know Deiveson can come in and take it whenever he wants? It just
Yeah.
makes you wonder. To be a good champion to me, you have to be someone who I say, I know this is just my opinion, it doesn't fucking matter obviously, but you have to be someone who I say I don't really know who could beat you or who has a good shot of beating you. You're the
Like
best.
Habib.
Yeah, like Habib, like Kamaru Usman, like Israel Adesanya. These people
Hmm.
are not beatable, and that's what makes them so much fun. So it hurts me to say this as Tony Ferguson's biggest fan, but I don't think the title run is really in there anymore. Unless he takes a year
Yeah.
off, he recovers. I don't know if he can recover that quickly, but if he does, great. I think that's the only plan for him, to take a ton of time off and just reevaluate what he's doing and where he's at. But I don't want him to be
Seems,
like the cowboy who just chills and
yeah.
fights like contenders and gatekeeps, which is fine, but I would rather see Tony more up in the title contention era.
Because he's been so close for so long,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So close for so long. He got oh man, he got screwed out of that Habib fight so many times for I mean, just how many times was it? Like five,
5, yeah.
five? That's
Incredible. That's
insanity, dude.
incredible.
Over the course, how many years is that? Like 2 years?
2 or 3. It's incredible how like one of them was tripping on a wire too. To just think about that. Like some of these reasons are just, and the global pandemic comes in for the fifth one. It's just, oh my god. What else is gonna come? A meteor just in Tony's house,
And
take him
I
out?
think I think we see these last two performances and we think, "Oh my God, this guy never had a shot against Habib." But um 2 years ago, that might not be the case. Like I said, this decline that we're seeing, it happened fast. Like it happened rapidly. It's like seeing one of those like line graphs of like a business or stocks or something, and then it just plummets at one point. It gets to one point and then it's just a straight line down the frickin' down the page. That's how I feel about what's happening with him. Where like this hasn't been built up for a long time, I don't think. For the longest time, he was going out there and just absolutely decimating people, and everyone was like, "This is the guy that's going to beat Habib. This is the guy that's finally going to do it." And then suddenly, that wasn't the case
Mm.
anymore. Like it just happened like overnight, it seems. Maybe it's just a rut that he needs to get out of. Maybe, like you said, take a decent amount of time off. But oh man, I don't know. It's hard to say when you're 36 years old if you have the time to step away and then come back a year or two later and,
That's the
and look
thing, yeah.
revitalized. I don't know.
Father Time doesn't want to wait for Tony.
It's I mean, if we're standardizing here where fighters are supposed to be in their prime when they're around Charles Oliveira's age, entering their prime around 31, around that uh that area. Tony should be exiting his prime right now,
Hmm.
Like that's typically how it goes. Of course there are exceptions to that. You have your Yoel
Yoel Romero.
Romeros who are like 1,000 years old, but it doesn't matter because he's still a physical specimen. But if we're talking typical cases, Tony should be exiting his prime right about now. So I mean the age and the timeline and it all adds up, right? Like it
Hmm.
makes sense. But I feel like almost people aren't ready, you know? Like the fan base still adores him.
Yeah, I can
Um
attest to that.
yeah, I
I'm
mean
not
I
ready to
love
let
him
him
too.
go.
I love him too. I did predict Charles winning this fight, but I didn't think it would be so not competitive, you know? I didn't think it would be this bad. Um, and I didn't think we'd be talking about Tony Ferguson's like
Demise.
the
Yeah.
end of his career after this. I thought it was going to be a hard fought fight that went Charles's way, but um, I didn't see this coming.
It's
Uh,
another tragedy of 2020. The
yeah,
the
dude.
decline. I think he was replaced with a different version of Tony in 2020. Like, he's like a synth right now.
This synth, I was just gonna
Yeah,
say that.
just
A
a worse
replicant.
fighter. I
Dude, we
mean,
gotta
it's
get
hard to say worse fighter because of the competition he's going against, but yeah, I'm really not happy that we're not going to get to see him and Khabib go at it. Because I mean, everyone was saying he was Khabib's kryptonite, and that might not be the case anymore.
no,
Khabib has
that
just gotten so good, and Tony's just declining, unfortunately. So
like I don't want to say that fight's never gonna happen because we've seen such weirder shit happen in the fight world,
that's true. That's true.
i.e. Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr., i.e. Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul.
Yeah, you're right.
What?
We could see this.
Jake Paul and Nate Robbins. What the fuck are you talking about? So, I don't want to say never because I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll see this fight in frickin' 10 years when it's a
Yeah,
carny fight, when both guys are in
I'm
their
down.
50s and it's some brand new promotion that nobody knows about and they're both, poor as hell and just need to make money. I don't know. Um, it, we'll see, but as of now, no. That's Tony and Habib. That's not even a to say it's a distant thought would be an understatement.
It just doesn't seem to be in the stars anymore. As an
Yeah,
astronomer, I can look up in the sky and I don't see Tony and I don't see Habib
it's true.
together. You know,
You're
that's
an
just
expert on
yeah,
the stars and
yeah.
space and
It's
such.
not meant to happen. I mean,
Yeah.
they literally cannot be further apart right now. One of them is retired and one of them is not in title contention anymore. So
Yeah.
it's just it just doesn't seem possible to me unless we get the Carney fight, like you were saying, which I am totally cool with. Let's see it. I'll pay for it, but no more than like $15. You know. I'm
You're
not
not
trying to
gonna.
pay.
First of all,
Sponsored by
you're.
crackstreams.com.
First of all, you're not gonna pay for it. Secondly, it would never in a million years be $15.
That's true. It'd probably be
It would.
$20.
Duh. It would.
Nah, yeah,
Dude,
with
they
Habib
charged.
and
They charged like 60 for Tyson and Jones.
really, I thought it was like $20.
No,
Wow.
I don't think so. I mean, I didn't pay for it, so I don't know for sure. But
FBI, we got him.
uh, yeah, they charged $50-$60 for it for sure.
Yeah, it's not in the stars. It's
Yeah,
not gonna happen.
get the stars out of here.
So Tony Ferguson has officially retired, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
Charles Oliveira
Jesus.
is taking his crown. My new favorite fighter, Charles.
You're just gonna
Charles
hop
is his
ship
best
like
friend
that?
now. No, I still love Tony. I still think he can come back. I just think it's going to be a very difficult attempt. It's going to be some Rocky shit, and I don't know. I've never seen Rocky, so I don't know what the fuck that means, but I'm going to hope that I'm like making the
You've
right
never
analogy.
Seen Rocky?
Nah, dude. I'm not a
It's one
boxing
of the
shill.
greatest. It's one of the greatest movies ever made. It's barely a boxing movie. The first Rocky is barely a boxing
Yeah.
movie. The first Rocky is a romance.
Yeah.
That's really good. Really, really good.
Is it?
The other ones are fucking weird.
I'll watch the
kind of-
first one in honor of you.
Yeah, dude, it's like one of the quintessential films.
Mhm.
Like it's
Trust me, I've been
terrific.
roasted multiple times for telling people I have never seen Rocky. And I deserve
what-
it 100%.
What let's go into this real quick. What other legendary films have you never seen? Have you seen Godfather?
I have
Part
seen
1?
Godfather
Part 2?
1. Not part 2, not part
Okay.
3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8.
Part 3 is like it's whatever. Part 2 is also one of the greatest films
Mhm.
ever made.
I've heard Die Hard is extremely good. Never saw that.
Yeah, Die Hard's a fun action movie.
John Wick's. Never seen the John Wicks.
John Wick's. There's
That's a classic.
There's a singular Wick in there.
Yeah, but there's multiple movies.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Like 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah,
The John Wick
I-
movies, I should say.
I would not describe John Wick as quintessential viewing, but
A lot of people
they're
would.
fun to watch. They're good. I mean, the
Um,
first one's one of the greatest action movies I've ever seen. So,
I would love that. I gotta watch them.
have you seen Apocalypse Now?
Yes, very, very long time ago. Don't remember anything, so basically no. I watched it when I was like very young.
Fight Club?
All right, shut up. All right, come on. Why you gotta bully me like this, Kyle?
I
No,
I'm
I've never
not
seen it.
bullying.
What else?
I'm genuinely
keep
curious.
naming them.
Um,
Never seen
uh,
Fight Club.
let's go over to Tarantino. Have you seen Pulp Fiction?
Yes.
Glorious Bastards?
Yes.
Hateful Eight?
Yes.
Oh wow, so you're a big Tarantino guy.
Don't forget about Jackie Brown, baby.
Jackie Brown is very
I love
good.
that. Yeah.
I love Jackie Brown.
I've never. The only movies I haven't seen of Quentin's are the Kill Bill, and
Kill Bill's
I
alright.
think that's it actually. Just Kill Bill.
The Kill Bill movies are my least favorite Tarantino movies.
They
probably.
seem kind of not my style. I guess you could. I don't know. They seem kind of strange to me.
Yeah,
I don't know how to
they're-
describe it.
They're very much inspired by like old Japanese
Yeah.
like samurai movie. Like it's almost like Kurosawa movies, but like times 10, like
Yeah.
in terms of just like ridiculousness and action. and all
They got
that.
a lot of backlash too, didn't they, for being too violent back in the day?
Yeah, but like who
Then
the
again,
fuck cares?
so does all of his movies.
Yeah, I mean, we got people living in the fucking 1960s where they think, if you listen to heavy metal music, you're a
That's
Satan worshiper, and
But that's true,
video
though, Kyle.
video games turn you into mass shooters,
Also
and
true.
marijuana makes you go to hell.
True.
All that great.
Don't forget, if you play video games, you're automatically a misogynistic and racist. Don't forget that.
Oh yeah. Gay people burn in hell.
That's
and
true.
All those wonderful.
No, I'm just kidding. Don't take
all
me
those
seriously.
wonderful like Reagan era fucking
mentalities.
Yeah, that have
They've
that
not
we see
aged
a lot
too well.
in the way we treat fighters for their quote unquote drug usage. Like Nico Price getting suspended for like 9 months because he smoked weed. That's good. That's great. Let's keep doing that, guys. Let's keep denying people work because they smoke marijuana, a substance that is pretty much about to be federally legalized in the entire country. Let's keep, just like ruining lives.
I wonder if it'll be
that.
overturned if it's decriminalized or legalized. I don't know, because that's the commission's rules. So
yeah,
they're
let's
kind
just
of
keep
cucks.
Let's keep denying our already underpaid fighters work for marijuana usage. That's a really
it's a good
great
business plan.
Yeah, that's really great, especially guys that put on super exciting performances and are massive draws for fans. I mean, Nico Price is an extremely entertaining guy, and but yeah, fuck him. He smokes the wacky tobacco.
We can't have that in our Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Sport.
No,
we can't have that. What will the kids think?
No one's gonna buy Fight Pass if everyone's high on weed. You know what I'm saying? We can't have that.
I wonder
disgusting.
What percentage of UFC fans smoke weed. Is it like 103%?
Yes. That's an intense number right there.
USADA says 0. No, none of them.
USADA's on the DARE program still.
Jeff
going to high
Nowitzki
schools.
Jeff Nowitzki says none of my fighters are gonna smoke that devil's lettuce. That's not allowed.
Who is that?
You
man?
fuck Jeff Nowitzki.
I don't even know who that is.
He's basically a fucking USADA shill that works for the UFC. Yeah, he's a watchdog essentially. He was the guy that helped take down, if you want to say that, Lance Armstrong when he did all his doping stuff. But because cycling, if you shoot up steroids, that's a criminal act. You gotta take away all his sponsorships and all his trophies.
You can't be
You can't be riding that bike when you're high on the freaking rocket fuel.
Speaking of high on rocket fuel, TJ Dillashaw is coming back relatively soon. That's exciting.
That's good.
I wonder if he's gonna fight at flyweight again. I'm kind of freaked out to see him. I don't think he'd do that without EPO. I think he's staying at bantamweight or heavyweight, featherweight. Because I remember he was calling Peter Yan out. Wasn't going too well in the Twitter wars. I think Peter Yan got the best of him there.
That's a guy that doesn't even speak English.
It seemed like TJ Dillashaw's manager was tweeting for him, and it was very PG. Like, my mom wrote this. It didn't seem very I don't know how to describe it. It just didn't seem like something
Clever.
TJ would write. It literally seemed like a corporate apology email. You know what I mean? Robotic. I don't know. Just buy the books.
Is it automated?
Check the boxes. Yeah, it was automated. That's exciting. Speaking of TJ Dillashaw's return, Mackenzie Dern had a great fight against
I don't see how those two things are
Virna
related.
Jandiroba. I've never They're very related, Kyle. They're very related. They're both from California, okay?
I think it's pronounced Vima.
Vima. All right. Well, Vima and Mackenzie Dern had a great fight.
Jandiroba,
and they're the same, Kyle, because Mackenzie's from California, Dillashaw's from California. They both have thick American accents.
Mackenzie is from Brazil. Thank you very much. She wears the Brazilian fight kit.
You're right. She wears the she speaks in a Brazilian accent.
She's always like,
purpose.
my jiu-jitsu is
Do you think Brazilians still use accents when they're behind closed doors, or do you think they just stop? You know what I mean?
I have no idea what that means.
I think they just speak normally. No, I'm kidding. But I didn't expect the Mackenzie Dern fight to be better than the Tony Ferguson fight either. That was intense, dude. I was surprised.
It was more competitive for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Mackenzie doesn't have the greatest technique in the world, but she's goddamn entertaining.
You mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and her stand up not the best, but on the ground obviously different story. But she's goddamn entertaining. If I have ever said that about somebody, like she's earned that right. Like when I see Mackenzie on a card, I'm just like, I'm gonna watch that. That's gonna be fun, regardless of where it goes. Striking, ground game. That's just she's great.
Yeah.
I'm a simp, a grade A simp right now.
Yeah. Hey, I am too. I am too. It was as Rogan predicted. It was a, two grapplers um clash. It turns into a stand-up battle. That's exactly what happened. Yeah, it was a very fun, entertaining fight. It was close. Did you score it for Dern? Did you think she
I
won?
would say it was Dern just because I'm biased as hell, and
What do you mean? Like you score it for Dern because she's attractive?
no, I just like Dern better, as a fighter. So I'm gonna give it to her. Obviously, I'm gonna pull the Sol Diamata or whatever the hell his name is, and just randomly pick whoever I like more. Um,
Sal Diamato. What a guy.
What is his name? Sal
I
or
think it's
Saul?
Sal.
Sal
It's
Diamante,
S-A-L.
Mafia Kingpin.
Yeah, he's
Sal,
he's a trash ass
part of the
judge.
Gamora. Anyway, I would have to watch the fight again because it was so close, but I would give it to Mackenzie simply because she hits like a truck compared to Vima. I think you said her name was.
Yeah,
I heard
I
of
think
them.
that's
A lot
right.
of people were saying it in different ways. It's a tough name. Yeah.
Jandiroba.
She does look like the Oblivion creator character, though. I'm not like when you fuck it up
Oh
real
my
bad. When you like turn the
god.
eyes all the way slanted.
Oh no. We're
Nah,
never gonna get
I'm
sponsored.
just kidding. I'm just kidding, kinda. She's a good fighter though. I just wouldn't watch her ever again. Anyway,
Oh. I think
I've killed our G Fuel sponsorship.
I think in terms of women's fights, Tiesha Torres looked freaking great
Yeah,
last night. That was surprising, dude. She came out looking like just. I mean, granted, she fought, I think, a girl that never fought in the UFC before, but um, she came out with that tornado energy. She was really, just like throwing crazy strikes, hitting hard, looking fierce. That was a fun fight, right?
yeah. I love Tiesha. Go Tiesha. Go Sam Hughes.
Hey man, she did good
Nah,
last night.
she did very well. I do
That
like
was one of
Tiesha.
the
She's one
better
of the bigger
Tiesha
names.
performances we've
Yeah.
we've seen. But my personal
Oh.
moment of the night
Oh yes.
was Kevin Holland knocking out Jacare Souza from his back.
That was something I did
Whoa.
not see coming.
I put my yeah.
Not at
I put
all.
my freaking hands on my head the moment that I was in shock. Um Kevin Holland might be my fighter of 2020. I know Deiveson is he's there too, but dude, he's fought 5 times in
Yeah. And
2020,
he wants to
won
fight
all
Kamzat.
5. He wants to fight Hamzat Chimaev next week, which I don't think is like out of this world to think that could happen. I think Uncle Dana should try really hard to make that happen. I don't know what the deal with Hamzat is right now. If he's got COVID, if he's
I don't
if
know.
he's in Vegas, I don't know what his deal is. But dude, I would absolutely love to see that. Kevin Holland has everything you want in a fighter. He has it all. This guy has it all. He has an exciting fighting style. He's going out there and just finishing people, putting on great, spectacular, highlight reel KOs. He's dominating. He's got a awesome personality. He's hungry. He comes out there just ready to battle, and he wants to go again immediately. He's a trash talker, which is fun. He's funny. He's got it all. He's really
He's
got
the
it
full
all.
package.
I've been high on this guy for a
Oh
bit.
yeah, a
Like
long time.
I've been I've been I've been a Kevin Holland simp for a good bit now. Like most of this year I've been praising him. And it seems like people are really starting to latch on, which I'm happy about. And this knockout, I mean, unlike any knockout you've ever
I mean,
seen.
against a guy like Jacare too. What? I
He
didn't think Kevin
uses
Holland was gonna win this fight. I did
he
not.
uses his own leg to like slingshot forward off his back and lands a hook that puts Jacare out on his knees. Just a weird ass knockout. Um, yeah, I mean, this guy has everything. This guy is going to be one of your premier middleweights. He's going to be fighting big names very, very soon. Well, I mean, he already did, Jacare Souza, but in addition to that, he's going to be fighting more big names. He's going to be getting more recognition. He's going to be getting better placements on the card. His activity throughout this entire year has just been outstanding. I think he's fought more than anyone this year. Uh, I think even more than Hamzat, right? How
Yep,
many times has
more
Hamzat
than
fought?
Hamzat. I believe Hamzat fought 3 times.
3 times, right? Deiveson fought what, three
Three
times?
times, yeah.
Yeah, he's fought more than anyone this year. Granted, the challenge is not the same. Um, I mean, I would argue that Kevin Holland has not fought a really significant challenge yet prior to I mean, Jacare is I would say
I
the
would say the
first.
biggest.
Yeah. Whereas Deiveson has fought some real big challenges. Hamzat has not fought the most deadly people either. So I think the fight between those two, I mean, I'm more hyped for that than I would be for Hamzat and Leon
Oh, me
Edwards, if
too.
I'm being
Me too.
if I'm being entirely honest, because we've seen so much of both of these guys recently, Kevin and Hamzat. We've seen so little of Leon Edwards. Leon seems to make no attempt to market himself and to make himself like interesting for people. Uh, and it's been so long since we've seen him. So dude, I think this could happen next week. Like I really do. Like I don't think it's an unbelievable thing to think that this could be a thing that happens on the Thompson Neal card, which is a great card by the way. Next week's Fight Night card is awesome.
I'm excited
Um,
for that. I miss Stephen Thompson.
it's a really really
It's
good
yeah.
card. You got freaking Anthony Pettis
Hmm.
opening up the card. Like that's significant. You got Jose and Marlon Vera. You got Michelle Paeta and Kaleem Williams. I'm not sure I know who that is, but Michelle Paeta is great. You got Marlon Moraes coming
He's the
back.
guy that flips around the octagon like a dancer, right? Michel Paerda.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, he is.
Uh,
I love him so much. Marlon
Marcin
Moraes. Oh
Tibura
my
and Greg
god.
Hardy. Oh, that's fun. That's real fun. Jillian Robertson, Talia
Mm,
Santos. The whole card is
it's
is
phenomenal.
terrific,
This is the oh
especially
wow.
for a fight night card.
The prelims
Yeah, you got
have
Bilal
7
Muhammad on the prelims.
or 8.
Uh,
Wow.
it's a stacked card. Carl Roberson, a lot of good names. If you freaking put Hamzat and Kevin Holland on that, I will
You could
shit
you could
myself.
argue that this is a pay-per-view card with that fight on there.
With Holland and
With Holland
Hamzat.
and Hamza. I know there's no title on the line, but still, this
Yeah,
is a stacked card. Jeez.
yeah. I mean, when you got names like Jose Aldo and Stephen Thompson on a card like that, you know, that's a big deal.
But what about Greg Hardy? My man.
Listen, man, Greg Hardy is a draw, I would say,
I love
because
watching him.
and people want to see him lose. You know,
Yeah. No.
like people, he
Yeah,
like
you're right.
that's a draw. You know, it's kind of like the Floyd Mayweather thing where. And I'm not comparing Greg Hardy and Floyd Mayweather in terms of their fighting ability. They are worlds apart, universes apart. But people hate Floyd. People tune in to see Floyd lose. At least they did,
How
back
could
when
you
he
hate
fought
Floyd?
Maypack. Well, he's kind of a
I
piece
know
of
he's kind of
shit.
a I know he's kind of a piece of shit, but come on.
People don't like his fighting style. It's not super fun to watch. People don't like his personality, but at the end of the day, he's super dominant, and people tune in hopes that he will lose and are oftentimes disappointed. Greg Hardy, it's a similar thing, I would say. People don't like Greg Hardy given his past and the things he's done, and people want to see him get KO'd, uh, myself included. I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind seeing Greg Hardy get starched by someone, but it's yet to really happen. Well, he's lost via like a disqualification, right? Like what he has a 7-2 record. I think he
Yeah.
lost the
Remember
decision
the
and then
knee
lost.
thrown across the world that ended the
Yeah,
man's career?
yeah. So in 2019 he lost the decision to Volkov. Then he got a draw that was overturned, I think, to a no contest. I think when he used his inhaler, or was it the knee? I'm not sure. Um,
His career is full of
no, no, no.
controversy.
So the draw that got overturned, I think, was for the inhaler thing. Then he goes on and beats Juan Adams, beats Dmitry Smolikov. I don't even know who that is. And then gets DQ'd against Alan Crowder when he knees him. And then in 2020, thus far, he's been undefeated. He KOs Maurice Green, KOs Jorgen De Castro, or doesn't KO. He wins a decision to against Jorgen De Castro, and now he's going to fight Marcin Tybura.
He's pretty
So
active. I I,
he's
I
very
respect
active.
it. Yeah.
You gotta give him credit. He's very active, especially in 2019. I think he fought like how many times in 2019? Let's see, one, two, three, four, 5 times in 2019.
It's
You
more
know,
than the usual fighter. I mean, especially one
that's
just coming in with
yeah.
very
There's
little
I mean, there's
experience.
something to be said for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give him credit.
But back to the 56 card. Did you hear the story behind Kevin Holland? I never heard that before that Dana described last night on the in the marketing before the fight.
Oh, about him being a big mouth
Yeah,
and
I didn't know he got denied the contender series and then they just called him to fight Thiago Santos.
yeah,
What? I didn't know that.
I don't remember.
No, I don't
I
either.
remember him fighting on Contender, and I thought um he won
He
and
did
got a
win, but he didn't
contract.
get a contract
Okay,
because he
so go
talked too
back
much apparently.
2018. 2018, he fights on a fight night card, Ngannou versus Blades, and he gets a third round submission against John Phillips. Then in at UFC 227, this is still in 2018, he loses a decision to Thiago Santos. Then in 2019, he loses via submission to Brendan Allen. Then he wins a decision against Alessio Di Cercio. Then he fights on the Barboza Gaethje card in 2019, wins a decision against Gerald Meerschaert, who Hamzat beat in like 10 seconds. Um, then in 2020, he goes on his, dare I say, trailblaze, beats Anthony Hernandez, beats Joaquin Buckley, beats Darren Stewart, beats Charlie Ontiveros,
Surely,
Charlie
Chalupa.
Ontiveros, and then beats Jacare. He was on like what, like the first season of Contender, first or second season. He was on Contender when they were still fighting.
Season 2,
Um,
episode 1. So it's still
okay,
pretty recent. Yeah.
yeah, he was on it when they were still fighting at the Tough Gym. It was before the Apex even opened. I didn't know he got denied a contract on
Yeah,
Contender.
Dana was like, he looked good, but he just talked too much, so I didn't sign him. But then I needed
What?
someone to fight Tiago, so I called him up and I said, hey, you want to fight Tiago Santos? And he said, sure.
That's so
So what an
shitty. Good for
interest.
Kevin Holland.
Yeah,
Good
I
for
mean, good for
him.
Dana for actually giving him a chance. But I can't believe he didn't sign him because he got a very nice knockout on the contender series, I thought, right?
I
Um,
honestly I can't remember.
no, it was a decision. It was a unanimous
Okay.
decision. So I mean, I guess it makes sense. But I remember his performance being pretty dominant, and it was unanimous. So
But when
yeah,
when does this John Phillips fight? happen?
That was after Thiago, the loss to Thiago.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
All right. I got
and then he
those
fought
mixed
Ciryl.
up.
Yes, and then he won in this Trailblaze in 2020. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for Holland, man. I really like him. He's a fun dude to just watch, regardless of who he fights. I mean,
Yeah, he's a guy I've had my eye on this whole year. You know that.
he's going places
I've mentioned him on this podcast
so many
a lot.
times.
A lot. I've been high on him
Almost
for a
every
bit.
podcast.
Because he's always fucking
He is
fighting,
always
dude.
fighting. That's true.
He's always fighting,
Yeah,
especially this year.
he's awesome.
Yeah, who knows, dude? Like the Hamzat Chimaev fight that could be being made as we speak right now, as we're
Yeah,
recording this.
it's so
Who
exciting,
knows?
isn't it?
Like oh man, I don't know what Hamzat's like status is right now. Like I don't know where he is. I don't know if he's healthy. Because what what was the deal with the Leon fight? I know we've talked about this before, but it
So
didn't.
so it got leaked that the fight was off because there was a positive COVID test, and looking at Kamzat, people thought he's in a worse environment for this kind of thing. It's most likely that he is the one who got COVID because he's more active and all that outside of the UFC. So people just assumed it was Kamzat. So everyone was saying, "Oh, Kamzat's positive. He fights over." Then the UFC announces that Leon Edwards tested positive. So then everyone's like, "Oh, we got it wrong. It was actually Leon that tested positive." So we don't know if Kamzat tested positive, but the UFC didn't mention anything about that. I don't know if they would, if they say they tested Kevin first, and then turns out, oh, he's positive. Now we don't have a fight for you anymore. Don't even come out. We're not gonna even test you. Like who knows how that works? I don't know. But yeah, it was Leon Edwards who got tested positive. We're unsure if Kamzat did or not, and we're pretty certain that he didn't.
Okay.
But you never know with Dana. Uncle Dana is hiding under the octagon of the test results. I
Yeah,
told you
I mean,
this.
I desperately wanna see this. I don't know. I just like if anyone said like next week, I would be like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Like that's a popular thing. Guys will be like, I can fight tomorrow. It's like, yeah, sure, whatever you say, buddy.
And then they go
But
home and they're like, nah, I don't feel like it.
but like when Kevin Holland says it, and the guy he calls out, like I believe it, you know?
No, I do
Like
too.
if he said like I'm gonna fight Israel Adesanya next week, I'd be like, okay, whatever. But like calling out Hamzat, I'm like, ooh, like
That's
that's
possible.
that's a I don't think that's impossible to happen. And I mean we just saw it happen with Deiveson and Brandon, and they make Deiveson makes the quickest turnaround in title fight
And that
history.
was a championship too.
That was a championship, and they put on an absolute banger. Like if that fight was a dud last night, like if it absolutely sucked, I think people would be like, okay, maybe this whole like week turnaround thing isn't isn't
Yeah,
a good
it's not a good
idea.
idea, yeah.
But given, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, you know. Like last night, I mean, Davison and Brandon put on such a spectacular fight, and I understand, you know, it's not necessarily guaranteed to be great, Hamzat and Kevin, but hey man, I'm about it.
I'm
I'm
all
all
for it as
about it.
well.
I will be keeping a close eye on Ariel Helwani's Twitter, waiting for that fight to surface if it does. And even if it doesn't happen next week, like maybe it'll happen like January.
Yeah, I
You know?
mean, it doesn't have to happen in a week. It could happen in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or I guess another taken off for Christmas. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
I
what's the schedule like? So we have next week's card with
next week is
Jeff Neal
it, and then we take a break till January, I believe.
till the Connor Dustin
Yeah, I don't know.
fight.
UFC fight night. Thompson versus Neal is the last one that's mentioned here.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
what
this is the last one, and I'm assuming next year they will update their little schedule here. And you can actually see what's going
yeah.
on. Yeah. Um,
So no cards until the 23rd after this.
I thought it was the 15th. Wait.
What? Dustin and Connor? Dustin and Connor is the 23rd, I believe.
Oh, okay. I thought there was one on the 15th.
Maybe there is.
January 16th. Holloway versus Calvin Kattar.
Oh, right. Yeah.
There might be another one. No. So January
No,
16th is
I'm
the
looking.
first fight. Okay.
Yeah. I'm looking at the website right now. So you have Thompson, Neal, then
Yeah.
Holloway and Cater. That's a really fun fight.
That's good. Yeah. I like that a lot.
Um, the card as a whole is but that's a good main event, you know.
Who's on the card?
No one you've ever heard of.
Ricky Simone. What do you mean? That's my boy.
Where is he on the
Ricky
prelims?
Simone versus Brian Kelleher. I don't know them. Tim Elliott,
Okay,
Jordan
okay. Ricky
Espinoza,
Simone, Brian Kelleher. That's a great fight.
Santiago
Son,
Ponzinibbio.
where are you seeing all this? I see 3 fights on
Well,
the
on the
UFC
wiki they
website.
have fights that are announced, but they could be moved or canceled, I
Oh.
suppose. Um,
On the website, all I see are Halloween Cater, which is great. Then you have Omari Akhmedov and Tom Breeze, which will probably suck. And then David Zawada and Ramazan Emiev, who I mean, I, I,
hey man, Ricky or not
but
Ricky, Nick Lentz is on this card, okay, versus Mike Grundy. So you could shut up, all right? This is a great card.
all right,
Juliana Pena, Sarah McMahon, Anthony
all right,
Hernandez,
all right.
Muslim
If
Sakalaha.
if these fights happen, then yeah, it's a decent card. But
It's terrible. No, it's a good thing to get us back into it. And then, well, who's on the
you know
McGregor
what?
card?
Who would be great co-main slot
Hmm.
for the Cater
Oh,
Holloway card? Hamzat and Kevin Holland.
yes, I love it.
Like, listen, if this fight's not getting done next week, fucking put it
Just
on that
just
card,
do
dude.
anything.
Put it on that
We
card.
need this in our lives.
I absolutely need it.
Oh my god, I forgot about our man Ciryl Gane or Gane.
Oh Jesus,
Ciryl
yeah,
Gane and
yeah.
JDS.
He looked
Wow,
real good. He has looked real good in every single performance thus far.
this man is
Um,
exciting.
yeah, he's real quick and nimble for a heavyweight. His kicks are nuts.
Yeah,
I mean, those do not look like heavyweight. Well, they do in terms of their power, but the speed and the precision of those kicks, like those aren't heavyweight kicks, bro. Like that's, um, yeah, the guy is just
a
like
guy like a
crazy
boxer
athletic.
like JDS, he outstruck him 6-1. That's insane to think about.
Yeah,
61 to 11.
JDS didn't look too good.
Wow, almost every fight or every punch besides 3 punches and kicks in that fight were significant. That's funny. There were 3 non-significant strikes thrown in that entire fight out of like 72.
His body kicks are fierce. Ciryl Gans.
I just think the way he moves just gives him so many opportunities, with openings, and just he can capitalize on anything because he could just zip right in there and then zip right out whenever he needs to. So I
What's a
think he's got a fighting style that's going to take him places. I don't know if he's going to, rise to the top at the moment. I think he needs to keep fighting a little more. Obviously, you don't want to just throw this guy into a title fight or some shit like that, like some people are saying. But
I
damn,
got a good fight for you.
what do you got?
Okay.
Lay
I
it on
got
me.
Ciryl Gane, Jairzinho Rosenstruik.
Oh,
That's the fight.
that's the fight to make. Dana, give it to us.
That is the fight because
Lay it on me.
let me lay it on you, kiddo. Okay?
Yes.
Both guys just beat JDS. Uh Jairzinho beat JDS in August, and then last night Ciryl beats him. Both guys are really solid kickboxers, and it's a leap. It's a big leap because right now Ciryl Gane, this is as of Sunday, Ciryl Gane's 14 in the rankings, but he did just beat a number 7 guy, so I think you have to throw him up a little farther, especially some of the dudes that are in front of him. I mean, Blagoy Ivanov, Sergey Pavlovich, Walt Harris, Alexei
I
Olenek,
think he
Augusto
runs through them.
Sakai. I think you got to put him above those guys
Yeah.
because a lot of those guys are coming off losses. Like I think the vast majority of them are. Volkov, um, I think you throw him ahead and you put him against Rosenstruik. I think that could be a really fun kickboxing match, like really fun. Um, but then again, Derek Lewis, he's kind of waiting in the wings. His fight fell out. Who was he set to fight and that fell apart recently?
Wasn't he supposed to fight? Wasn't Alistair, was it? No,
Was it?
I don't know.
Oh, God, why can't I read? This was very
Derek
recent.
Lewis, Curtis Blades, yeah.
Curtis Blades. What happened there? Curtis tested positive, I
Yeah.
believe.
I believe he tested
for COVID.
positive, yeah. I think it would be really fun. I don't think it should happen, but I think Alistair and Gane would be extremely fun. I think that would
Yeah,
be the striking
that's
match of the year. Or it
that's
would be
another
terrible
great.
because Alistair would run the entire time. He's so tied to the whole counterpunching style that I don't think that much would happen in the fight, but I think it would be very tactical, very methodical, slow paced, but still really spicy. I would love to
Yeah, I
see
mean,
that.
there's a lot of fun fights you can make
Yeah, just
right
because this
now.
guy's movement just opens up all the doors for him, I
I
think.
think he would be a fun fight for if have him take on Rosenstruik, Lewis, or Overeem.
Let's just give
Honestly,
him Stipe.
I think Stipe and Francis is your next title fight at heavyweight. Curtis, I really don't know what you do with him right now, given that he just tested positive. So,
Cut.
how cut, yeah, get him out of here.
Can't have no positive tests.
So yeah, I don't really know where you go with him right now. And then you have Derek waiting around. So yeah, I mean, there's a few different possibilities there, but I do think you have to put Ciryl Gane. I think you kind of got to throw him ahead on these rankings because a lot of these guys he's have not looked as good as he looked last night, you know.
I agree
Uh,
completely with you.
so, but yeah, he was one of the standouts last night. I believe the guy just doesn't move like a heavyweight. He's super fast, super precise,
Super bouncy.
yeah, very very bouncy.
I love it.
He's got great kickboxing style. That's why I think the Rosenstruik fight would be so entertaining because they're both such talented kickboxers.
Oh man, Rosenstruik's still unconscious on the octagon though. After the
Yeah,
yeah.
from when Ngannou ended
Yeah,
him.
he's still laid out. That's unfortunate. He lost a brave soul that day. I think there's bright futures ahead here in heavyweight and flyweight. Two of the divisions that used to be not so competitive. I really do like this now. And I mean every
Yeah.
division right now is just very fun. There's not one division here that I'm like, I don't really care what happens here. I'm not really interested. I mean, look at every single fighter in the top 15 on every single weight class. I mean, if you look at the women's, I mean, obviously not as interesting just because of the dominant champions and whatnot. But even them, I mean, they still have a great, triangle going around here between the top fighters. It's just a good time for MMA in the pandemic. Dana even said himself that the pandemic doesn't affect him, so that's why they're cutting 60 fighters. He said they're unaffected by this, that they're still making the same amount of money.
Unaffected. We just have to fire everybody.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's true.
another standout last night, Cub Swanson.
Yeah.
How do you not
you
love
like
Cub?
that? God damn.
How do you not love Cub Swanson?
Dude just
He,
gave it all.
yeah, he's just awesome. Gotta love him. Goes out there.
I like how he's still in this. A lot of people were saying like, yeah, maybe you should think about just hanging it up. Step aside. But now, I mean, damn, keep going, Cub. Keep proving me wrong. Prove all of us wrong. You're a great guy.
Yeah, he's so entertaining.
Yeah.
Such a veteran. Been around for so long, but still finds a way to come out there and put on really exciting performances. I didn't think he was gonna be able to do it after that leg got so beat up.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, that's it.
It
That's
wasn't
it for
looking
him.
good.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so much better that he pulled through the adversity and still came out and
Yeah.
won.
Yeah, Cub's a crafty vet. Gotta love him.
I don't think he's going away now for a while. He's been rejuvenated. My favorite
Just
word.
like Tony Ferguson, right?
All right, well, The holiday special has been canceled. The Caffeinated Comment holiday special. Anything
Holiday
else you
special.
wanted to
We
talk
said
about,
Christmas
Kale?
special at the start.
Yeah, well, we're
We
gonna
are
get defunded if we keep talking about Christian holidays. Okay, so
defunded.
we've been defunded.
We need to get funded. Period. We don't have any funds,
That's true.
buddy. They gotta pay
That's
for all
true.
my coffee.
Yeah, I mean, they can at least do that. So follow us on patreon.com/holiday special.
When
At
is
Caffeinated
Black
Comment.
Rifle? When's Black Rifle Coffee Company gonna start sending us shit?
They did already. I denied them. Not good enough quality.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
We only accept Folgers here at
Folgers. How do you
we
say
only accept
Folgers?
the lowest quality coffee. What do you say?
Folgers is very good. I don't know
Folgers?
what the fuck you're talking about. Yeah, Folgers. That's how you say it.
What are you, some kind of lore expert in the coffee here?
The
Get
best
outta here.
part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
All right, I think we're done here.
Yeah, I think we are too. Podcast canceled.
Oh man, hang it
Go
up.
away.
Hang it up. We just had a Tony Ferguson performance out there. Oh my god. Hold up, I'm talking, brother.
Hold up.
I'll shut up before I ankle pick you. I want to see Tony ankle pick a heavyweight so bad. Oh my god, that would
I
be
want to see him
entertaining.
ankle pick anyone.
I want to see him fight anyone and not die. He's one of my favorites, and this sucks watching him just, Oh well.
Who are your all-time favorite fighters, Matt? Because they've all been on a downturn.
Yeah, John
List them.
Jones definitely on a downturn in his respective weight class, but now that might be changing. Obviously, going to heavyweight.
Dominic Cruz.
Those are Dominic Cruz. He's got a fight coming up. He's got a fight coming up. I love Conor. I have to love Conor. I mean, who doesn't love Conor? If you don't like Conor, you're just saying that because he's mainstream and you want to be a fucking hipster. All right.
Yeah,
he's kind of a piece of shit,
that's a good
yes,
point.
but you gotta like him as a fighter, not as a person.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
That's a good point. Everyone loves to hate
yeah.
on him because it's like the cool thing to do.
It's like, oh, you're casual if you like Conor. Well, no, he's one of the best. He's popular for a goddamn reason, people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
It's true. You don't become I don't want to say billionaire. You don't become a multi-millionaire by being a shit fighter and just being entertaining. Chael Sonnen's not riding around on his yacht right now. You know what I mean? Like he's
why you gotta roast Chael like that?
I love Chael. I love Chael
Chael's
so much.
Fucking awesome.
But his fighting abilities are much less than his speaking abilities, and that's fine. Chael is a speaker through and through. He's a great fighter, not for the current generation of mixed martial arts, though.
Well, no,
which is fine. He's
45 years old.
You can't expect Chael to be the greatest of all time and beat John Jones just because he talks a lot of good shit. Khabib Nurmagomedov,
fucked up that toe.
Obviously, another one of my favorites, other than Tony Ferguson as well. I love Jorge. I love Ciryl Adesanya. Who could hate Ciryl? Obviously, Deiveson is becoming one of my favorites now. I love Stipe. There's so many fighters I love. I'm trying to pick my all-time favorites, but I'm just naming everybody. Alistair Overeem. I mean, come on. I love Francis. I mean,
okay, so maybe not all of your
Robert
favorite
Whittaker,
fighters
Paulo
are
Costa,
on a downturn.
Darren Till, fucking Stephen Thompson. So about every single fighter in the roster, I just fucking love. How about you?
Well, my point was that your all-time favorites.
Okay, maybe all-time favorites. Yeah,
are Cruz,
most of them.
Ferguson.
Yeah, Cruz, Ferguson, Jones.
And they've all been.
Yeah, they're not doing too well.
A little rough go of it.
Cruz is my all-time favorite, so that's
okay.
where it hurts the most.
My all-time favorites aren't doing any better.
Who?
Felder.
Yeah.
Cowboy.
Yeah.
Habib, but he's
doing pretty well. He's
doing well. He's just not a part of the sport anymore.
Dana's like, he's 30-0 in his last few fights. We gotta let him go. Oh no, he's 29. No, what am I talking about?
Yeah, get out of here.
I didn't read the lore correctly. Sorry.
Freaking casual. Go check the Elder Scrolls.
I'm such a Conor
wiki.
McGregor fan. God damn it. I'm a piece of shit.
Dustin's one of my favorites.
Dan Hooker.
He's looking good. Dan.
Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker.
Anthony Smith. My favorite fighter of all time is probably Ryan Superman Spann, though. I really do like him. I know he got sent to Ban World and all, but
Christ. I hope Dustin Poirier annihilates Conor McGregor in January.
Me too.
No, what? You just said how much you like Conor.
I fucking love Dustin, though.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Connor already has everything he needs in life. Dustin doesn't. It makes no sense for Connor to win this fight, but it makes a lot of sense for Dustin to win this
I
fight.
do want to see lightweight champ Dustin
Yeah,
Poirier, and I
exactly.
think that's a very good possibility now that Khabib's gone.
We already got to see double champ Connor. Let's see single champ Dustin at least.
Single champ.
I say that as if it's a bad thing.
He'll love being called single champ Dustin.
For the rest of his life, he'll be known as the single champ. Well, right now he's a 0 champ, so I mean it's better than that.
Christ.
And that's not because of him. I mean he's been doing everything right, except for not beating Khabib, which no one has. Except for he's done everything right, except for not becoming champion. Oh, I love Dustin.
Oh man, we need to stop.
We do.
We need to stop.
We've gone off the rails.
We have.
All right, fellas. Thank you for watching our Christmas Hanukkah special of Caffeinated Combat. We will see you next week with Fight Night, like 304 or whatever the fuck it is. What is this Fight Night like? Honestly,
who cares?
like,
Neil Thompson.
Neil Thompson. Yeah, you get to watch,
I don't give a fuck about the numbers.
You
to
gotta
be
watch the
honest.
Karate Hottie Stephen Thompson fight. Neil fucking Magnet or whatever. Neil Magnet's gonna stick to some fridges.
Nope, that's Jeff Neal. Different people. Different people.
No.
Different people. Yep. Jeff Neal and Neil Magny are different people.
No way. I thought that was a nickname. I thought Jeff was a nickname.
Nope.
Like quotation marks Jeff and quotation marks Neil.
All right, that's the end.
Thank you for listening to Intoxicated Combat. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.